when last I did any painting, it was 2020. It is now 2021, so it's time to do a little bit more painting. And I want to ease myself in a little bit with one of these guys, the Space Marine Heroes, Terminators. This time I want to do Brother Fuerran. I need some Terminators for my Deathwatch Army. I've got one. He looks great. I was able to do some edge highlighting on him. And since it's been probably a couple of weeks since I did any painting, I want to kind of get back on that horse. But I want to do so in a safe way. So I know I've succeeded with this guy. I'm going to try to succeed with this guy, or a Terminator, again. So this guy looks pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot in terms of modifications that I could even try to do, so I'm not going to try to get cute with him. It's just going to be a simple build, and hopefully an equally simple paint job. The Space Marine colors the Deathwatch colors aren't that complicated anyway. So, hope you'll join me on this guy. I will for sure need to do some work on that pauldron, though. I don't want this. I don't want that pauldron on there. I'm going to need to do the Deathwatch pauldron. So I need to sand that off. And I did it the last time. I thought I had recorded footage of me sanding it down and replacing it with the Deathwatch pauldron. Apparently I didn't do that. So I'm going to do that this time around. Let's get to building, shall we? Just a reminder, since this is a push to fit, I won't be doing any permanent gluing until I need to. So it'll be I'll either push things together or I'll add some sticky tack to make sure that he goes on enough for the build, and then I'll separate stuff out for the painting that will inevitably happen. Now, I will say, there seems to be more flashing on this one than there was on Brother Aramus. That is not to say there is a lot of flashing, but there is some, and Brother Aramus had almost none. So it's notable in that, there was very little on the other guy. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that compared, relative to each other, this one's a little less clean. Yeah, so I can already tell for this subassembly right here, I'm going to have to paint them separately. Otherwise, there's those little cracks in there that I'll just never be able to get into. So this I'm going to have to take apart when I paint. And it doesn't seem too hard to get off, so it'll be fine. I don't know how this is supposed to go together. Oh. I think I see. So I guess when you snap it together, it goes onto the waist a certain way. I don't know if I'll retain that pose. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. This base is going to be interesting to paint because I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to represent. Maybe like a toppled structure of some sort. Here's the assault cannon. Now, I do wish I knew what the heck this was about. Every once in a while, and it's not just Games Workshop models, but I've seen when I was a kid, I would run across jet airplane or jet plane models, and they would have that random bit of flashing. I didn't know what it was called back in the day. Well, I'm not entirely sure these days either. But I don't know why that has to be there. It'd be an interesting thing to find out. Doesn't show up on a lot of pieces, but on some. Not a deal breaker either. Just curious. I'm assuming it has something to do with the manufacturing process and maybe equalizing pressures, or maybe it's just a little gap in the mold. Who knows? But I am curious to know. So if any of you guys knows what that's about, please let me know. That would be awesome. Not a huge surprise, right? These snap-to-fit models are really easy to build. That's no biggie. So, as is the case with these press-to-fit, or at least these Heroes series, there isn't a lot of mobility. Like, I can do that. Oh, the chest wants to fall out. So I can already tell I'm going to have to glue some stuff down for sure. But that was going to be the plan anyway. And... oh goodness. Okay. So, as I was saying, he's got the usual limited range of motion. By usual, I mean I've seen one other model built, and it had the same idea, so I'm assuming the design principle is the same. The other... well, okay, so here's the range of motion on his arm. Not much, right? Now, I'll probably... in fact, I'm almost definitely going to do this, is the peg that's underneath here, I'm going to remove that so I can have a bit more freedom of motion on my gluing to the model. But it will be limited by the fact that, I'm going to have to sand this pauldron down and attach the Terminator-sized Deathwatch pauldron. And it's going to rub up against this little shield here, which looks really cool, but it's really in the way. The other thing is, so this arm has even less range of motion. As I bring it down to a semi-usable, position, it comes out of the shoulder socket. So I'm going to, again, get rid of that peg and just glue the arm down directly. Because while this is a cool pose, I kind of want him to be in a place where he's shooting something. Kind of like that. I mean, he's already in a pretty cool pose, his legs and torso. But if his assault cannon was in a better position, I think that would be cool. Besides, this is how he's supposed to be assembled. I want to do something different, even if it's just that. Now, what I would really love to do, and I'm not going to try because this is too thick of a piece, I would love to be able to melt this and kind of position this whole assembly kind of inwards. So as he's doing this, he'd actually be kind of pointing the gun that way. I'd have to melt this entire thing right here. Now, while I did get a hot air wand, because last time I tried this with hot water, it didn't work, so I wanted to try a different technique. This looks a little too solid. I feel like if I start melting this, this whole thing is going to kind of, do bending in ways I really don't want. So I'm not going to mess around with this model, not like that. But I will try to pose his arms a little closer to that. Yeah. So that's the plan. It should be fun. So, as part of the Let's Build, I want to go ahead and just include some additional steps here. I'm going to glue the sub-assemblies together, just the ones that I know I can handle separately. Same thing with this guy right here, the assault cannon, or whatever that's called now. Glue that together. These I'm not going to glue together because they're going to be coming apart. But as long as I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and perform some surgery. And last time I left a little bit of the nub there, but I found that it still interfered. So now it's going to come clean off. And technically doesn't need to be sanded since you're never going to see this, but I'll know it's there. So I'm smoothing it out just a little bit. Not a ton. This nail buffer works really well. I really like the results I get when I use this. Oh, that's right. I also need to remove the head so I can get primer and paint all the way in there. Well, this guy needs additional surgery. Let's get this. All right, let's get that emblem shaved off, shall we? We did a decent job last time, so I'm not so worried about this time. All right, I'm going to use my handy-dandy Dremel tool to get rid of that excess stuff and shave off a decent part of the shield, the pauldron, so that the Deathwatch pauldron fits right over that. So this will probably get a little loud. I'll probably be muting it, so if I do, enjoy this random royalty-free music. So as you can see, I've shaved off quite a bit, and I might even be alarmed if I hadn't already done something like this. Let's just smooth out some of these corners. Sure. I'm using the really grittiest side of this. All right. That looks horrible, doesn't it? Let's, if we did our job right, then the other pauldron will fit right over that, and we wouldn't have any more problems. Let's find out. Here are my Terminator-sized Deathwatch pauldrons, and they'll go right in here. Oh, so I'm still gonna have some trouble getting it in there. I could squish it in, but realistically, I need to take off a little bit more off the sides here. Let's see if I can just do this a little more gently. Alright, looks like I'm going to have to polish off one of these sides, because some of that scraping is showing up right there, and I don't want that. Okay, it's not designed to fit exactly right, but so you see how it's doesn't really want to fit in there, but that's close enough that a little super glue and force will do the job for us. Ow! Victory is ours. It's in there. And it looks goofy right now, but once it's primed and painted, it's going to look pretty decent. There's just one more thing left to try. I thought I was done with this sub-assembly, but I'm not. So, for my last Space Marine Heroes Terminator model, I had a Baron right pauldron because I didn't have a chapter-specific pauldron that's going to work with it, and I guess I could have tried shaving it down, but I wanted to try something else. So I went out and found a small company that'll 3D print some chapter-specific insignia. And so here you are, the world's most expensive plastic. I haven't used these yet. They're supposed to be curved specifically to fit on this size of a pauldron. Let's see. It seems really delicate. Oops. So I'm gonna have to be pretty careful with these. Let's see, since this is, what do I pick? Ultramarines. I'm gonna pick an Iron Hands. I don't know where it went. Let's see if it'll work as advertised. Yeah, kind of does. All right. I'm going to attempt to adhere this with some plastic glue, although I'm afraid it may not work that way. All right. Seems to work pretty well. The proof will be in the pudding, though, since I haven't actually done one of these before. Once I prime and paint, I'll be able to tell whether this was worth, I think this was something like 20 bucks. This little thing. I imagine it's made by the same people that produce inkjet cartridges. I mean, I kid. The value add is in the very small detail, the high resolution of the material and the 3D model, and probably the low volume that they do in this particular product. There can't be that many people buying, paying 20 bucks for something like this, so they have to make it up in price if they don't have the volume. So I don't really like it, but I understand. All right, and just like that, Brother Furran is ready for some painting.